This is a video showing the basic principles at work within the Paradise Mainstream Management Reporting product for Sage 200. What we're seeing here is the main dashboard screen, which opens when Mainstream is started. The purpose of this screen is to give an overview of the business, drawing data from Sage 200 and giving an overall view of what is going on. Take a quick tour of the screen. Here, in the top left, the blue panel is giving us invoice sales values over time. We can see 12-month period with the overall invoice sales value in each period. Over here, we have the date range that's being displayed. So for example, to get a 2-year view rather than a year-to-date view, it's as simple as clicking on the 2-year button. This will have the effect of recalculating, drawing the data from Sage 200, and here we can see a 2-year view. Here in the top right we have a view of stock, then there are creditors, debtors, with payments made and received today. And at the bottom, sales order processing, what orders have been received today, dispatched, and any orders that are overdue. So this set of panels can be redefined over any particular date range, but where the real power, say, of Mainstream comes is when you want to drill down or drill across. Let's take, for example, what has been invoiced today. If I want to look at that, I simply click on the number of invoice today, and Mainstream drills down to give me a breakdown of that. What we're seeing here is the value invoiced today, how much of that was generated by free text invoices within the sales ledger, and how much by invoices generated by sales order processing. And below, a list of the customers that have been invoiced, together with their values. Again, intuitively, we can drill down into that. So if we want to look at what Cherry has been invoiced today, we drill down into that, and we're now looking at Cherry's specific information for today's values. A large manually entered invoice on the 9th of November for 411,000. Now perhaps you might be interested in, well, okay, is this typical for Cherry or not? Well, let's have a look at a 2-year view of Cherry. You notice here that the date range applies to whatever screen we're looking at. So there's today's invoice for Cherry, but there was an October manually entered invoice as well. But before that, there was a large number of orders coming through sales order processing. So perhaps this account has changed the way in which they're trading with us. To move back to the dashboard view is as simple as backspacing intuitively back up the tree until we arrive at the dashboard. Let's have a look at the stock in a similar way. We're being shown the full stock value here, which is 445,000, of which approximately 10% is allocated, 67,000. If we want to have a look at that allocated value, we can click on the slice, or indeed the value, to have a closer look at that allocated value and what that's made up from. Here's the allocated value. We're told the age of those allocations. Some, very few are recent, most are 30 to 60 days old. Down here we can see the stock allocations by product, but perhaps we're not interested in it by product, perhaps you want to see it by warehouse. Well, then it's a case of clicking on the warehouse button, and we now see the same value but shown how it's spread across the warehouses. We could also specifically drill down on anything that is allocated for a very long time. Let's ask for what's allocated over 120 days. Here we can see in the warehouse there is one item that was allocated 900 days ago, nearly 3 years ago. Let's drill into that again and see what that item is. Here we can see it's a customer, Molly, for a fridge where it was allocated a very long time ago, 900 days ago, and the picking list for that has never been printed. This is how Mainstream can be used to identify and clean up problems within Sage 200. Let's return to the dashboard once again. Other things that mainstream can highlight are things like items that need ordering, shown here in the stock panel. 5 items need ordering apparently. Let's click on that and see what they are. Here we're being shown the 5 items, told the sales quantities that are already on sales orders. Here are the number of sales orders, any purchase orders that relate to those items, and therefore the available stock and the shortfall. Let's pick one of these items. Let's pick this lino item where it's saying we're short of 7. Let's ask for a breakdown of that figure. How does it get to being short of 7? And we're seeing a list of sales orders where 3 of these lino items are on purchase orders, and we have 18 in stock, but we have 28 appearing on various sales orders, leading to a net shortfall of 7 of these items. Now, to demonstrate just how quickly mainstream reacts to changes in Sage 200, let's move over to Sage 200 and actually put some of these lino items on order. I'm already in the purchase order module, so I'm going to go in and create a new order for the correct supplier, which is Formaker, and I'll say that I want this brought through to the warehouse. I'm going to add the lino item to the warehouse, and I'm going to order 20 of them. They're £12 each. I'll save that and save the purchase order. If I now switch back to mainstream and ask to look at the shortfall details, immediately it can be seen that lino has disappeared from this list. That's because it's no longer going to shortfall. The order we've just put in will address that problem. This is how mainstream can be used to interactively control the business by giving a top-down view of what's going on. So what mainstream gives any company is an overall heartbeat view of what's going on in the business.